in addition to courses that you have on data visualization and on specific Excel topics, you also have workshops on reporting in general. So I'd love to ask you if you have top tips for our listeners on how they can get reports right in general. We know a little bit from the data storytelling at the top of this episode. So things like having the takeaway title on the report instead of a topical title. You got any other big tips for our listeners?
Yeah, that's a pretty granular edit and a detailed edit of thinking about the specific chart. What chart type should it be? Is this even important data to include? Like that, once you get those things right, you also have to look back and see the bigger picture of the document, presentation, dashboard. We'll focus on reports right now, though. And um, let's see. Oh, if I had to pick one, I have a favorite. We haven't talked about this yet. I love taking those big reports, whether they're 20 pages, 30 pages, 300 pages. I work with a lot of federal agencies that have so much data, huge, huge reports about their projects. I love taking each chapter and using a different brand color. So, chapter one is in,
Mm.
let's say the brand colors are like blue and green and purple, or whichever. Lots of groups have like 2, 3, 4 brand colors. So, chapter one's overarching color is blue. So you start it with not just you don't just say chapter one in size 12 font. Like start it with chapter one in the huge font, preferably size 50 to 100. Give it its own divider page with let's say a blue background. So people know we're in the brand blue color chapter. And then everything in that chapter is overwhelmingly brand blue. The heading ones are brand blue. The heading twos are brand blue. The images are brand blue. Like if you have a line graph that you know is a spaghetti line graph to start and you've already grayed everything out and you're going to highlight that one line in a darker color, you're going to use brand blue in chapter one. So that when they turn the page or when they scroll in the PDF, because so many things are for on screen reading nowadays, the next chapter has the next color. It's
Mhm.
brand, what did I say we had? Like blue and green and purple. It's the green chapter. Chapter 2 is the green chapter and chapter 3 is the purple chapter. So it's a very monochromatic chapter. You'd have like blues and grays, greens and grays, purples and grays, but the report as a
Mhm.
whole is very colorful and
It's
branded.
brilliant. I love it.
It's one of those things I learned in grad school about visual chunking and that our brains associate different colors with different content areas. You see a new color, your brain says, "Oh, I know what's happening. We're switching gears. I'm about to learn about something new in this chapter."
I like that a lot. That's a great tip. So yeah, having a consistent brand color across all of the key elements in a given chapter of a big report. So across the titles, across key elements of plots, across highlighted text and paragraphs,
Mhm.
make it all blue in chapter one, all green in chapter two, whatever. That makes perfect sense to me. And when I think about some of the best reports that I've ever seen, they do that. And I hadn't occurred to me.
It's behind the scenes in our
Mhm.
brains. Our brains
Mhm.
notice that being done. I saw it the first time in a lot of books are like this. Not books that are just black and white text only, but a lot of books with photographs or images. I'm thinking of, I think the first time I consciously noticed it, I think it was Presentation Zen by Gar Reynolds.
Ah.
And I noticed that each chapter started with a beautiful, I'm trying to not say full bleed anymore, but full screen photo. It was photographs of, it was very Zen. It was like very Japanese, beautiful, like rocks piled on one another,
Mhm.
and it was its own color. Like it was the green chapter, and you turn it, and then the heading one was green, and then the bullet points are green, and the like diagram is green, and then the next chapter was the next color. And I just thought, oh, what a perfect way to not make it feel like this huge book or a huge report. It's just this little chapter, and it's just this little chapter. And then it's kind of a way to where you trick's not the right word, but it's a way to like trick your audience into like, hey, I'm going to give you all this data, but it's not going to feel like a lot of data. It's just going to feel like this little chapter with just a couple simple skimmable graphs.
Cool. I love that. Any other report tips for us beyond the chapter coloring?
Covers matter. I had to learn that the long hard way as a data person. All of my graphic design friends had to like really really repeat that for years. I was so stubborn. I thought like the data will speak for itself. The graphs are so exciting. Who cares if my cover is just some Microsoft Word template or default or something? They're like, and the
Mm. So you
covers
mean like
do matter. First impression matters.
the cover of the whole report?
The first page of your PDF, or if it's a
Mhm, mhm,
report
mhm,
embedded in a website, like the front
mhm,
page, that absolutely matters. I'm a big fan though. If you're a graphic designer for a living, like go do all your fancy bells and whistles with your covers. Of course, that's a big part of your job is making things beautiful and eye-catching and well-designed. But if you're a data person, like I told you, I'm a spreadsheet person at my core. I don't think the data people should spend too much time on covers. My rule is 20 minutes. You're making a 20-minute cover. I have some tutorials on my blog. If you Google 20-minute report covers or Anne Emery 20-minute covers, I show you exactly how to do this in PowerPoint. You can do it in Word. You can do it in Canva, Publisher. You can do it in any of the software programs of adding a beautiful photograph, typically a photograph. It's nice for audiences to have photos and graphs to remind them of the humans behind the data. I typically do a full screen photograph and some large text about the report. And like, that's it. It's just nice, beautiful 20-minute cover.